Welcome back to our masterclass series presented by HCM Integrity Services. Today we'll focus on recognizing controlled substance use in the workplace. Safety is a collective responsibility. This session is dedicated to controlled substances, a subject carrying significant legal weight. We will explore indicators associated with different substances, from physical signs to behavioral changes. Our goal is to empower you as supervisors to make informed observations, not diagnoses. This training will equip you to identify potential safety risks and act decisively. A workplace free from impairing substances is safer for everyone. By spotting signs early, you become a crucial line of defense. We emphasize objectivity, fairness, and respect. Document what you see and hear without judgment. Let's begin, reinforcing our shared commitment to a secure, drug-free workplace. Observation is the cornerstone of a successful compliance program. There must be a specific observation of behavior that suggests impairment, not just intuition. Your ability to observe accurately gives the system integrity. We will train you to notice indicators of substance use, providing a checklist for real-time situations. Document specific facts, transforming suspicion into an actionable report. Federal regulations mandate reasonable suspicion be based on direct observations. Observe and report. Your observations form the legal basis for testing. Honing observational skills is a fundamental requirement, contributing to a safer work environment. The world of controlled substances is complex and constantly evolving. It includes not only well-known illicit drugs like cocaine and marijuana, but also a wide array of prescription and over-the-counter medications that can impair a person's ability to perform safety-sensitive functions. Medications like opioids, sedatives, and even some stimulants, while legal with a prescription, can have side effects that are incompatible with operating heavy machinery or commercial vehicles. This complexity makes your role as an observer more challenging and more important than ever. You must be aware that impairment can stem from a variety of sources, and your focus should always remain on the observable signs, not on the potential source of the impairment. This training matters because ignorance is not a defense when it comes to safety. A lack of awareness about the signs of substance use can lead to inaction, and inaction can have catastrophic consequences. By participating in this masterclass, you are equipping yourself with the knowledge needed to navigate these complexities confidently. We will provide a clear overview of the 5 major drug categories included in standard DOT testing panels: marijuana, cocaine, opioids, amphetamines, and phencyclidine, or PCP. Understanding the general effects of each category will help you connect your observations to potential safety risks, reinforcing the need for intervention when you spot troubling signs. Furthermore, societal attitudes and laws regarding certain substances such as marijuana are changing rapidly. This can create confusion and challenges in the workplace. It is crucial to understand that regardless of state laws, substances like marijuana remain prohibited for safety-sensitive employees under Federal Department of Transportation regulations. This training will clarify the legal landscape, ensuring you understand that federal rules supersede local laws for regulated industries. Your responsibility is to enforce company policy and federal regulations consistently, without exception. This clarity protects the company and ensures that safety standards are uniformly applied to all employees in safety-sensitive roles, regardless of where they live or work. Ultimately, this training is about empowerment. It empowers you to act decisively to prevent accidents. It empowers the company to maintain a compliant and defensible safety program. And in a very real way, it empowers employees by ensuring that any intervention is based on fair, objective criteria. When a supervisor is well trained, they are less likely to ignore warning signs or act on improper biases. This creates a safer and more just environment for everyone. Your commitment to completing this training demonstrates a dedication to professionalism and safety that is essential for any leader in a safety-sensitive industry. While our focus is on observation and compliance, it is essential to approach this topic with a foundation of empathy and professionalism. We are dealing with human beings who may be facing significant personal challenges. Substance use issues are often symptoms of deeper problems, including physical health conditions, mental health struggles, or immense personal stress. As a supervisor, your role is not to be a counselor or a diagnostician, but you can and should handle every situation with respect, discretion, and compassion. An empathetic approach does not mean ignoring safety risks. It means addressing them in a manner that preserves the dignity of the individual while upholding your responsibilities to the company and the public. Professionalism in this context means adhering strictly to company policy and federal regulations. It means your actions are guided by objective facts, not personal feelings or speculation. When you suspect an employee may be impaired, your interaction should be calm, private, and direct. The conversation should focus exclusively on the specific behaviors and performance issues you have observed. Avoid accusatory language or attempts to diagnose the problem. For example, instead of saying, "I think you are on drugs," you should say, "I have observed that your speech is slurred and you are having trouble standing, and I am concerned about your fitness for duty." This professional, fact-based communication is less confrontational and more defensible. Maintaining this balance between empathy and professionalism can be challenging, but it is critical. An overly aggressive or judgmental approach can escalate a situation, damage trust, and lead to employee grievances or legal challenges. Conversely, an approach that is too passive or avoids confrontation out of misplaced sympathy can allow a serious safety risk to persist. This training is designed to help you find that professional middle ground. We will provide you with scripts, checklists, and procedures that guide you through these difficult conversations, ensuring you remain supportive yet firm in your duty to ensure safety. Remember that the ultimate goal of a reasonable suspicion referral is not punitive. It is a safety intervention. In many cases, it can be the first step for an employee to get the help they need through a substance abuse professional and the return to duty process. By handling the situation with empathy and professionalism, you create an environment where safety is the priority, procedures are followed correctly, and individuals are treated with respect. This approach fosters a culture of trust and demonstrates that the company is committed not only to safety, but also to the well-being of its employees. Over the next hour, we're going to embark on a structured journey to build your expertise in recognizing controlled substance use. Our masterclass is carefully designed to be a comprehensive and practical learning experience. We'll start by reviewing the regulatory framework that governs this process, making sure you're familiar with key citations like 49 CFR Part 3, 82.603, and the purpose behind reasonable suspicion testing. Understanding the why behind the rules is the first step toward effective implementation. This foundational knowledge ensures that all subsequent actions are grounded in full compliance with federal law, which protects both you and your organization from legal liability. Next, we'll move into the core of the training, the specific signs and symptoms of impairment. We'll systematically break down the physical, behavioral, speech, and performance indicators associated with the major categories of controlled substances. You'll learn to identify signs related to stimulants, depressants, and opioids, among others. This section is designed to be highly practical, providing you with a clear and memorable set of observable criteria that you can apply in your daily work environment to make informed and justifiable decisions. From there, our focus will shift from observation to action. We'll cover the critical importance of documentation, introducing you to the Controlled Substances Observation Checklist. You'll learn how to record your observations objectively, making sure your notes are factual, detailed, and free from bias. Following this, we'll outline the proper steps for making a referral. This includes how to approach the employee, how to arrange for testing, and how to manage the situation while prioritizing everyone's safety and rights. We'll use logic flows and step-by-step guides to make the process clear and easy to follow, removing any ambiguity about what to do next. Finally, to bring all these concepts to life, we'll present realistic scenario-based role plays. These dramatized vignettes will show supervisors encountering employees who exhibit signs of stimulant and depressant use. We'll pause the action to highlight key indicators and discuss the supervisor's response, allowing you to see the principles we've discussed in a practical context. The masterclass will conclude with a summary of key takeaways and final tips, reinforcing the most important aspects of your role. Our goal is that you leave this session not as an expert in pharmacology, but as a confident and competent supervisor, fully prepared to spot the signs and take appropriate action. Every effective safety program begins with a strong foundation, especially in the transportation industry, where federal regulations are key. The Department of Transportation sets rules to prevent alcohol and controlled substance use by safety-sensitive employees. These rules protect the public, employees, and companies. This training meets federal requirements, focusing on Title 49 CFR Part 382, regarding alcohol and drug testing for CDL holders. These rules create a standardized system nationwide, ensuring safety on our highways. Public safety takes precedence, requiring strict prohibitions. This training empowers you to enforce these rules confidently. Your diligence prevents accidents, reinforcing company integrity. Federal regulations, specifically 49 CFR Part 382.603, mandate supervisor training. Supervisors must receive at least 60 minutes of training on alcohol misuse and 60 minutes on controlled substances. This training helps supervisors determine reasonable suspicion to require driver testing under Section 382.307. This is a federally mandated function. Training covers physical, behavioral, speech, and performance indicators of probable alcohol and controlled substance misuse. This regulation places significant responsibility on supervisors as the designated observer to initiate reasonable suspicion testing. Failing to act puts everyone at risk. This training establishes you as a credible observer. It is essential to explore the why of Regulation 382.603. The primary goal is to equip supervisors with the skills to make reasonable, evidence-based referrals for testing. This training is designed to replace subjectivity with objectivity, ensuring that any decision to test is grounded in observable facts. A second crucial purpose is to create a consistent and uniform standard for safety enforcement across the entire commercial transportation industry. Another key purpose is proactive accident prevention. Finally, this training serves to empower you as a leader. It provides you with the knowledge, skills, and confidence needed to handle what can be very difficult and confrontational situations. 49 CFR Part 382.307 outlines when a supervisor can require a driver to submit to a test. An employer shall require testing when there's reasonable suspicion a driver has violated controlled substances prohibitions. This suspicion must be based on specific contemporaneous observations concerning appearance, behavior, speech, or body odors. The supervisor who observes the behavior makes the determination and creates a written record within 24 hours. Understanding and following this rule ensures compliance and protects against legal challenges. Reasonable suspicion rests on three crucial words: specific, contemporaneous, and articulable. Mastering these terms is essential. Specific means your observation cannot be vague. Contemporaneous means observations must be near the time of the potential violation. Articulable means you must clearly state your observations, explain to another person what led to your suspicion. Together, these words prevent acting on bias and demand a disciplined approach. Mastering this is key to a fair and legally defensible program. DOT regulations protect all parties involved: the employee, the supervisor, the company, and the general public. For the employee, regulations prevent discriminatory actions. For the supervisor, the regulations provide a shield of protection and are essential for company risk management. Most importantly, these regulations protect the public. They create a system designed to keep highways safe. The rules create a fair process that balances individual rights with the need for public safety. While meeting the letter of the law is a fundamental requirement, the ultimate goal is to foster a truly proactive safety culture. A safety culture is a shared belief system where every employee feels a personal responsibility for safety. It is a culture where identifying and reporting a safety concern is seen as a positive act. Your role as a supervisor is absolutely pivotal in building this type of environment. This training gives you the tools to be a safety leader. Fostering a proactive culture also involves ongoing communication and reinforcement of your company's drug and alcohol policy. This training is a key component, but it should not be a one-time event. Safety is the top priority every single day. A truly excellent safety program reaches for the ceiling. It ensures that everyone goes home safe at the end of the day. Your leadership is the most powerful tool you have to transform your workplace to one that is proactively and profoundly safe. A controlled substance is any drug regulated by the government. This includes illegal drugs and prescription medications. As a supervisor, remember that impairment can stem from legal prescriptions. Focus on observable signs of impairment, not the substance's source. DOT regulations prohibit Schedule I drugs at any time. Drivers with valid prescriptions are prohibited from using them while on duty if it impairs their performance. The central issue is functionality. Is the employee fit for duty? Focus on objective signs like slurred speech and poor coordination. This prevents impairment-related incidents no matter the substance. When ordered, samples are analyzed for specific substances. The Department of Transportation mandates a 5-panel test to detect commonly abused drugs that risk transportation safety. The 5 panels are marijuana, cocaine, opioids, amphetamines, and PCP. Each category was chosen for its abuse patterns and impact on skills like judgment and reaction time. The DOT created this baseline for safety across the industry. Note that the 5-panel test doesn't include every impairing substance. Other drugs are not part of the standard DOT screening. Your observations are crucial. The test is just one tool. Documented observations are primary evidence regardless of detectability. Next, we'll explore each category in detail. Marijuana, also referred to as cannabis, is one of the most widely used and debated controlled substances in the world. As a supervisor, be aware of the common signs of marijuana use, like bloodshot eyes, distinct odor, slowed reaction time, and poor coordination. The legal landscape surrounding marijuana is changing rapidly, creating confusion. State laws do not override federal DOT regulations. Marijuana is classified as a Schedule I controlled substance and is prohibited for DOT-regulated employees. Your role is to enforce the federal safety standard. When documenting observations, be specific and objective. Consistent application of the federal rule is essential for maintaining a safe and compliant workplace. Cocaine is a powerful and highly addictive stimulant, typically sold as a white powder or crystallized rock. As a stimulant, it produces euphoria, energy, and alertness, followed by a crash. Signs of use include dilated pupils, hyperactivity, restlessness, and talkativeness. Physical signs can include a runny nose, fidgeting, and rapid speech. Impaired judgment and mood swings make behavior erratic. Document specific observations to form a reasonable suspicion referral. Cocaine's effects are incompatible with safe commercial vehicle operation. The term opioids refers to a broad class of drugs known for their pain-relieving properties. This category includes illegal drugs like heroin, as well as powerful prescription medications such as oxycodone, also known as OxyContin, hydrocodone or Vicodin, morphine, and fentanyl. These substances work by binding to opioid receptors in the brain, blocking pain signals and producing feelings of drowsiness and euphoria. The ongoing opioid crisis has made these substances tragically common, and their presence in the workplace poses a grave safety threat. Opioids are central nervous system depressants, and their effects are directly contrary to the alertness required for safety-sensitive work. The primary signs of opioid use are related to this depressant effect. An individual under the influence will often appear drowsy, lethargic, and may nod off or fall asleep at inappropriate times. A classic physical sign is constricted or pinned pupils, which will appear very small, even in normal or dim light. Other observable indicators include slowed breathing, slurred speech, droopy eyelids, and a general lack of coordination or clumsiness. The person may seem disoriented, confused, or have difficulty concentrating, and their emotional responses can appear blunted or apathetic. From a safety standpoint, the dangers are obvious and profound. The drowsiness and slowed reaction time make it impossible to safely operate machinery. A driver under the influence is at extremely high risk of causing an accident due to falling asleep at the wheel. Even if a driver has a valid prescription, they are prohibited by DOT regulations from using it while performing safety-sensitive duties if it impairs their ability. The presence of a prescription does not negate the safety risk. When documenting your observations, be sure to capture specific signs of depression. For example, during our conversation, his eyelids were heavy and he appeared to fall asleep for a few seconds before jerking awake. Or, his pupils were pinpoint and his speech was slow and slurred. You might also note performance issues such as, he was unable to complete the pre-trip inspection checklist, stating he couldn't focus on the task. These specific observations of drowsiness, constricted pupils, and cognitive impairment are the key indicators that will justify a reasonable suspicion test and allow you to intervene before a tragedy occurs. Amphetamines are a class of powerful central nervous system stimulants. This category includes both prescription medications and illicitly manufactured drugs. Prescription amphetamines, such as Adderall and Ritalin, are commonly used to treat ADHD and narcolepsy. On the illicit side, methamphetamine is a more potent and highly addictive form. Whether from prescription or illicit sources, these substances produce similar effects: increased wakefulness, energy, and focus, often accompanied by decreased appetite. The key issue for supervisors is potential impairment and abuse regardless of the drug's origin. The signs of amphetamine use are very similar to those of cocaine, since they are both powerful stimulants. Look for indicators of an overstimulated state such as hyperactivity, extreme talkativeness, and restlessness. The individual may display nervous energy like fidgeting, teeth grinding, or skin picking. Physically, you will likely observe dilated pupils, increased sweating, and a rapid pulse. Behaviorally, the person might be euphoric, agitated, irritable, or exhibit signs of paranoia and aggression. A marked change from normal, calm demeanor to high-strung, wired energy can be a significant red flag. While prescription amphetamines can be legally used, they still fall under DOT regulations concerning impairment. A driver with a prescription must discuss safety-sensitive duties with their doctor. If the medication could impair driving ability, they cannot use it while on duty. A medical review officer will make the final determination, but the initial safety risk remains. Illicit methamphetamine use is strictly prohibited and presents even greater danger due to high potency and severe impact on judgment. When documenting observations, be precise in describing stimulant effects. For instance, he spoke so rapidly I had difficulty understanding him and was unable to focus on one topic for more than a few seconds. Or, I observed jaw grinding and heavy sweating despite the cool office temperature. These specific descriptions paint a clear picture that supports reasonable suspicion determination. The intense stimulation and potential for erratic behavior make amphetamine use a serious workplace safety threat. Phencyclidine, commonly known as PCP, is a synthetic dissociative drug that was originally developed as an anesthetic. Its medical use was discontinued due to its severe and unpredictable side effects. PCP profoundly distorts perceptions and produces feelings of detachment. The effects of PCP are notoriously erratic and can vary dramatically. Users may experience anything from mild euphoria to severe delirium, hallucinations, and extreme violence. One of the most dangerous characteristics of PCP is that it can induce feelings of invulnerability and extreme strength, combined with paranoia and aggression. Their disconnection from reality, impaired judgment, and potential for sudden irrational violence make them utterly incapable of performing any safety-sensitive function. Approaching an individual suspected of being under the influence of PCP requires extreme caution, prioritizing de-escalation and safety above all else. While the DOT 5-panel test focuses on the most common categories of abused drugs, your responsibility as a supervisor extends to recognizing impairment from any source. The world of psychoactive substances is vast and includes many prescription and even over-the-counter or OTC medications not on the standard panel that can still pose a significant safety risk. For example, benzodiazepines, a class of sedatives like Valium, Xanax, and Klonopin, are widely prescribed for anxiety and sleep disorders. These drugs can cause significant drowsiness, confusion, and slowed reflexes, making them just as dangerous as opioids for someone in a safety-sensitive role. Another category of concern includes certain sleep aids, such as Ambien, which can have lingering sedative effects well into the next morning, a phenomenon known as sleep driving. Similarly, some muscle relaxants can cause dizziness and profound drowsiness. Even common over-the-counter medications can be a problem. For instance, many cold and allergy formulas contain antihistamines like diphenhydramine, the active ingredient in Benadryl, which is well known for causing significant drowsiness. The warning labels on these medications often explicitly state "do not operate heavy machinery," a warning that must be heeded by professional drivers. It is crucial to understand that your role and the company's policy on fitness for duty are not limited by the 5 drug panels. The overarching principle is that no employee can be on duty while under the influence of any substance that impairs their ability to work safely. If you observe an employee exhibiting specific, contemporaneous, and articulable signs of impairment, such as drowsiness, confusion, slurred speech, or poor coordination, you have a duty to act, even if you suspect the cause is a medication not on the DOT panel. The first step is always to remove the employee from safety-sensitive functions to eliminate the immediate risk. The subsequent procedure may differ slightly. Since the cause may not show up on a DOT test, the action might be guided more by general company policy on fitness for duty rather than the specific DOT testing regulations. This might involve sending the employee for a non-DOT drug test if allowed by company policy and state law, or requiring a fitness for duty evaluation from a medical professional. The key takeaway is that your observations are paramount. You are trained to spot the signs of impairment, not to diagnose the substance. Trust your training, document what you see, and follow company protocol to ensure safety regardless of the suspected cause. The human body reacts in observable ways to controlled substances. These reactions are physical indicators that supervisors are trained to recognize. Physical signs reflect internal chemical changes and are concrete physiological responses that can be documented. Recognizing these signs helps determine if an employee is impaired. Physical signs like pupil size, sweating, or lack of coordination are harder to fake. Spotting these signs transforms a vague concern into a specific observation. Knowing what is normal for each employee is key. A physical sign becomes significant when it deviates from a person's normal state. This provides a visual vocabulary to identify potential impairment and promote workplace safety. Stimulants like cocaine and amphetamines push the body into overdrive. Look for hyperactivity, rapid speech, sweating, and tremors. Watch for fidgeting, pacing, flushed skin, and shaky hands. These are clear signs of a system running too fast. Document specifics. Pacing for 5 minutes, unable to sit still, hands trembling when picking up a cup. Details matter for reasonable suspicion. Eyes reveal a lot. Stimulants and hallucinogens cause wide, dilated pupils. Opioids constrict them to pinpoints. Note bloodshot eyes, marijuana, droopy eyelids, depressants, or rapid eye movements, PCP inhalants. Context is key. Record observations like pupils dilated despite bright light or pinpoint pupils slurred speech. These details build a strong case. Depressants like opioids and benzodiazepines slow everything. Watch for drowsiness, slow speech, clumsy movements, and shallow breathing. Look for unsteady balance, slack facial expression, and pinpoint pupils. These are red flags for impairment. Document, speech slow, nodded off mid-sentence, unsteady when standing. Combine these for a clear, reasonable suspicion. Marijuana's telltale signs include bloodshot eyes, strong odor, dry mouth, and slowed coordination. Odor alone isn't proof. Combine it with red eyes, clumsiness, or trouble recalling instructions for a stronger case. Example: distinct marijuana odor, extremely bloodshot eyes, difficulty judging distance to chair. Multiple clues matter. Impairment often shows in movement. Watch for stumbling, swaying, or trouble with fine tasks like buttoning a shirt. Stimulants may cause tremors. Depressants and marijuana can make movements clumsy or slow. Document specifics. Stumbled twice, hands trembled using keypad. Clear, detailed observations support your case. Inhalant abuse leaves strong chemical odors and visible stains. Look for paint on skin, rashes, or dazed, uncoordinated behavior. Signs include slurred speech, confusion, watery eyes, and stumbling. These indicate acute intoxication and danger. Document: spray paint odor on breath, silver stains on fingers, unable to walk straight. These observations demand immediate action. Dissociative drugs, most notably phencyclidine or PCP and ketamine, create a profound sense of detachment from reality. They distort sensory perception and produce feelings of being separate from one's own body and environment. The physical signs associated with these drugs are often bizarre and alarming, reflecting a severe disruption of the brain's communication pathways. One of the most striking indicators is a blank, vacant stare, as if the person is looking through you rather than at you. They may be completely unresponsive to verbal commands or questions, appearing lost in their own world. This profound disconnection is a hallmark of dissociative intoxication. The effect on motor control is also unique and highly observable. Instead of the simple clumsiness of depressants, dissociatives can cause rigid, robotic, or exaggerated movements. The person's gait may be stiff and unnatural. You may also observe rapid, involuntary eye movements known as nystagmus, or a loss of coordination so severe that they are unable to stand or walk. A key and very dangerous physical sign associated with PCP is a greatly diminished perception of pain. This, combined with drug-induced feelings of invulnerability and strength, can lead to extremely reckless behavior and make the individual a danger to themselves and others, as they may not react to injuries they sustain. Other physiological signs can include profuse sweating, a flushed complexion, and a rapid heart rate, which are signs of stimulation. However, these are often combined with the slurred speech and disorientation more typical of a depressant. It is this strange and unpredictable combination of stimulant, depressant, and hallucinogenic effects that makes dissociative drugs so dangerous. The user's physical state can fluctuate rapidly, making their actions completely unpredictable. Approaching an individual in this state requires extreme caution, and safety should be the absolute first priority for you and any other employees present. When documenting observations related to suspected dissociative use, detail the specific strange behaviors you witness. For example, he stood motionless in the middle of the room with a blank stare for over a minute, and did not respond when I called his name. Or, he was sweating heavily and making repetitive nonsensical statements while moving with a stiff, jerky gait. These descriptions of a profound break from normal physical behavior and reality provide an extremely strong foundation for a reasonable suspicion determination and underscore the immediate need to remove the employee from the workplace to ensure the safety of everyone involved. While acute physical signs like pupil size and coordination are crucial for identifying immediate impairment, a noticeable decline in an employee's personal appearance and hygiene can be a longer-term indicator of a developing substance use problem. This isn't about just a single day of looking tired or having a wrinkled shirt. Instead, it's about observing a consistent negative trend away from an employee's normal baseline of self-care. A person struggling with addiction often begins to neglect aspects of their life that were previously important, and personal grooming is frequently one of the first things to suffer. This can be a subtle but important clue that something is wrong. You may observe an employee who was once consistently well-groomed, starting to appear at work looking disheveled. Their clothes might be dirty, stained, or just not appropriate for the workplace. You might notice a lack of attention to basic hygiene, like unkempt hair, untrimmed nails, or even a persistent body odor that is really out of character for them. While these signs on their own are not definitive proof of substance use, they can be part of a larger pattern of behavior that, when combined with other indicators, strengthens your suspicion. It suggests a shift in priorities and a potential loss of self-respect that often accompanies substance abuse. Physical changes to the body itself can also become apparent over time. Chronic use of certain substances can lead to significant and unexplained weight loss, since stimulants like cocaine and methamphetamine suppress appetite. On the other hand, some individuals may experience weight gain. You might notice unhealthy-looking skin, sometimes referred to as meth sores, in the case of methamphetamine users, which are open sores caused by the combination of drug effects and compulsive skin picking. The person's complexion may become pale or sallow, and their eyes may seem sunken or have dark circles beneath them, reflecting poor health and lack of sleep. It's really critical to approach this type of observation with sensitivity and caution. There can be many reasons for a change in appearance, including legitimate health problems, financial hardship, or personal grief. So these signs should never be the sole basis for a reasonable suspicion referral. However, they are valuable pieces of the puzzle. When you see a marked decline in personal hygiene combined with other more acute signs like poor performance, attendance issues, or observable signs of intoxication, it helps to build a more complete and articulable picture of a potential problem that needs to be addressed through established company procedures. Throughout this part of our masterclass, we've broken down the various physical indicators of controlled substance use by drug category and by the type of sign. However, in a real-world situation, you will rarely observe a single, isolated sign. Your true skill as a supervisor lies in your ability to synthesize multiple observations into a single, cohesive, and compelling picture of potential impairment. The strength of a reasonable suspicion determination comes not from one clue, but from a constellation of indicators that, when viewed together, point logically to the conclusion that an employee is not fit for duty. This is the process of building a complete observational picture. Imagine you observe an employee with constricted pinpoint pupils. On its own, this is a significant sign, but when you combine it with additional observations of slurred speech, drowsiness to the point of nodding off during a conversation, and unsteadiness when they stand up, the picture becomes overwhelmingly clear. Each additional piece of evidence reinforces the others, creating a powerful, multifaceted justification for your actions. This is why it's so important to be patient and thorough in your observation, looking for more than just one symptom before you make a decision to act. This synthesis also involves considering the context and the employee's baseline. A single observation of bloodshot eyes on a Monday morning might be explained by a lack of sleep. But if those bloodshot eyes are accompanied by a distinct odor of marijuana, slowed reaction time, and an inability to recall simple instructions, the explanation of fatigue becomes far less plausible. Your final determination should be based on the totality of the circumstances. The combination of physical, behavioral, and performance indicators you observe, all measured against your knowledge of that employee's normal state. This comprehensive approach is what makes your suspicion reasonable. As we conclude this section on physical indicators, remember that you are an observer of fact, not a diagnostician. You do not need to know for certain which substance, if any, is causing the signs you see. Your sole responsibility is to identify, document, and articulate the specific, contemporaneous signs that suggest a safety risk. By learning to recognize the signs of a system in overdrive, a system slowing down, or a system disconnected from reality, and by weaving those observations together into a coherent narrative, you fulfill your duty. You protect the employee, the public, and the company by ensuring that no one is performing a safety-sensitive job while their body is sending clear signals that they are impaired. Physical indicators are only one part of the puzzle. We must also recognize behavioral, speech, and performance indicators of controlled substance use. These signs reveal how a substance is affecting an individual's mind and ability to function. Learning to spot these changes provides a deeper understanding of the situation. Behavioral signs refer to changes in a person's actions and moods. Performance indicators relate directly to an employee's ability to do their job effectively and safely. You are looking for a change from the employee's established baseline. A consistent pattern of negative changes becomes a significant red flag. Your familiarity with your employees' typical work habits is your most valuable tool. We will break down the most common indicators associated with controlled substance use. By connecting these clues, you can build a well-supported case. A common indicator of substance use is a dramatic shift in an employee's mood and attitude. Drugs can create a volatile emotional roller coaster, causing changes from their usual demeanor. Stimulants can induce euphoria, followed by a crash of irritability or paranoia. This can manifest as increased irritability or aggression. Depressants can lead to emotional blunting or apathy. An employee might seem emotionally flat, disengaged, and indifferent. Document these changes specifically and factually. Detailed, time-stamped descriptions provide concrete evidence of a change in attitude. Substance use can cause significant changes in an employee's behavior and relationships. One common sign is social withdrawal. An active team member might start to pull away from colleagues, eating lunch alone, avoiding conversations, or skipping social events. This isolation can be due to shame, paranoia, or the drug becoming the central focus. This can also manifest as secretive behavior, frequent breaks, hushed phone calls, or defensiveness. They might associate with a new group or avoid former friends. Substance use can also increase interpersonal conflicts. Irritability can cause an employee to lash out. They may overreact to feedback or become involved in arguments. A sudden inability to get along is a significant red flag. Controlled substances impact decision-making, impulse control, and risk assessment. This can lead to a decline in judgment, especially in safety-sensitive industries. Employees may take unnecessary risks, such as speeding or ignoring safety protocols, due to a breakdown in perceiving consequences. This impaired judgment and overconfidence creates a dangerous disconnect from reality. Documenting specific incidents of poor judgment is vital to demonstrate impairment and potential safety threats. Controlled substances directly attack an individual's core cognitive functions. Common signs include difficulty concentrating, appearing distracted, or having a short attention span. Memory problems are another significant cognitive indicator. This cognitive decline often results in a general state of confusion and mental slowness, which is a direct threat to safety. Document specific instances of confusion or memory failure to provide clear evidence of potential impairment. Changes in speech patterns can indicate impairment. Depressants can cause slow, slurred speech, while stimulants may cause rapid, pressured speech. Substance use can also lead to incoherent or illogical speech. When documenting, be as descriptive as possible. These specific descriptions provide powerful evidence. A measurable consequence of controlled substance use is a decline in job performance. A once reliable employee may show a noticeable drop in output and standards. This impacts company operations and can be tracked through metrics. You might notice fewer tasks completed or increased time to perform duties due to cognitive and physical impairments. The quality of work is also likely to suffer. Employees may start making frequent, careless errors. Error-prone work from a previously competent employee is a major red flag. Employees may lose interest, display a lack of motivation, and do only the bare minimum. This shift is a significant indicator that supervisors should note. Document performance decline with concrete, measurable examples. Objective, data-driven observations provide irrefutable evidence of a performance problem. An employee's attendance record can indicate a potential substance use problem. A person struggling with addiction often develops a distinct and worsening pattern of attendance issues. You may notice a sharp increase in unscheduled absences, often for vague or improbable reasons. Look for patterns, such as frequent Monday or Friday absences. The employee might call in sick more often than their peers. Tardiness is another key component of this pattern. Excuses provided for absences and late arrivals may become increasingly elaborate or unbelievable. A recurring pattern of dramatic and last-minute excuses should raise a supervisor's suspicion. Keep a clear, factual log of all instances of absenteeism and tardiness. This factual record becomes a critical piece of evidence helping to justify the need for intervention. In transportation, unsafe acts and accidents are alarming performance indicators. A pattern of near misses or minor incidents involving an employee should be a major cause for alarm. This is where impaired judgment and poor coordination converge with devastating consequences. You might notice a driver getting more traffic citations for things like speeding or improper lane changes. There might be an increase in minor incidents like bumping into loading docks or scraping other vehicles. These incidents are often the direct result of impairments. A rising accident rate is a strong indicator of a serious problem. It is also important to pay attention to near misses. Dashcam footage or telematics data can identify risky behavior. Taking these reports seriously and documenting them thoroughly is a critical proactive safety measure. As we conclude, your strength as an observer comes from weaving different threads together. The power lies in the synergy of observations across behavioral, speech, and performance domains. Be a diligent observer, document information, and don't rush to judgment. You are a fact finder responsible for assembling evidence to make informed safety decisions. This is your most powerful tool in maintaining a safe, productive, and drug-free workplace. We've explored indicators of controlled substance use. The final critical step is documentation. If observation is the foundation, documentation is the concrete and steel. It transforms subjective concerns into an objective record. It protects the employee, you, and the company. It is a non-negotiable part of your role. Documentation creates a time-stamped record of observations justifying a reasonable suspicion test. In legal challenges, this document will be the primary evidence examined. Clear documentation speaks for itself, ensuring safety. We will delve into best practices for high-quality documentation. Companies use a standardized controlled substances observation checklist to ensure thorough documentation. The checklist guides you through the observation process, ensuring you capture necessary information. It reminds you of physical, behavioral, speech, and performance signs, so no detail is overlooked. A checklist includes the employee's name, date, time, location, and supervisor's information for context. The core is organized by categories of indicators. The most critical part is the narrative section, where you describe what you observed. Once completed, this form becomes the official record. The most important principle of effective documentation can be summarized in one golden rule: be objective, factual, and specific. Your report is not the place for personal opinions, assumptions, diagnoses, or emotional language. It must be a sterile, factual account of what you personally saw and heard. You are a camera, not a critic. Stick to the facts, and let the facts speak for themselves. You must provide enough detail so that a third party can read your report and form a clear mental picture of what occurred. Adhering to this golden rule requires discipline and practice. This commitment to objective, factual, and specific reporting is the hallmark of a well-trained supervisor. Federal regulations require contemporaneous observations, meaning they happen at or near the event. Document observations as soon as possible. Memories fade quickly. Complete the official form immediately after deciding to refer an employee for testing. The written record must be completed within 24 hours of the observed behavior or before test results are released. This is a strict requirement to prevent altering observations after learning test outcomes. If you can, make brief handwritten notes as you observe. Timeliness ensures accuracy, credibility, and a defensible report. When writing your report, capture a complete, accurate picture. Include relevant observations, the setting, and what drew your attention. Document changes from normal behavior, drawing upon your knowledge of the employee. Exclude third-party information, past issues, and subjective feelings. Stick to observable facts, what you saw and heard. This creates a defensible document focusing on fitness for duty. Translate your notes into a coherent narrative. Tell a clear, logical story of events. Start from the beginning, describing what brought the employee to your attention. Connect observations to job functions and safety risks, providing context for your intervention. Use clear, simple language, avoiding jargon. Read your narrative aloud. Is it clear? Conclude with a summary of your actions and the determination that reasonable suspicion existed to require a test. While regulations state a single supervisor's observation is sufficient, corroboration by a second supervisor is best practice. It adds credibility and protects against bias claims. If two trained individuals observe the same signs, testing is more defensible. Contact another supervisor or HR manager to observe with you, without influencing their opinion. Confer privately and co-sign the report, reflecting the joint observation. Employee reports trigger your investigation and direct observations. Seeking corroboration ensures a thorough, fair, and objective compliance program. Once the observation checklist is completed and the process is underway, the final step is to handle the documentation with the appropriate level of security and confidentiality. The observation report, along with any related notes and the results of the drug test, are considered highly sensitive records. They contain personal and medical information and must be protected from unauthorized access. These documents should not be stored in the employee's general personnel file, which may be accessible to various managers. Instead, they must be kept in a separate, secure file with strictly limited access. This is a critical requirement under both DOT regulations and general privacy principles. Access to these confidential records should be on a need-to-know basis only. This typically includes the supervisor who made the observation, designated human resources officials, the company's designated employer representative, and senior management involved in the disciplinary process. Sharing this information with other employees or managers who are not directly involved is a serious breach of confidentiality that can expose the company to legal liability. You must treat this information with the same level of care you would expect for your own private medical records. This commitment to confidentiality is essential for building trust and ensuring employees feel that their privacy is respected, even in difficult circumstances. The Department of Transportation has specific record retention requirements for all documents related to the drug and alcohol testing program. Records of a reasonable suspicion test that was positive, along with the observation report, must be maintained for a minimum of 5 years. Records related to a negative test result must be kept for at least 1 year. Your company should have a clear policy and system in place for the secure storage and eventual destruction of these records, in accordance with these federal rules. Understanding and following these retention schedules is a key part of maintaining a compliant program and ensuring you are prepared for any future audits. In summary, your responsibility does not end when you sign the form. You have an ongoing duty to protect the confidentiality of the information you have created. By ensuring that these sensitive documents are securely stored, that access is strictly limited, and that they are retained for the proper duration, you are completing the final step of the documentation process with professionalism and integrity. This careful management of records upholds the rights of the employee and protects the company, reinforcing a culture where serious safety matters are handled with the gravity, discretion, and respect they deserve, from beginning to end. After meticulously observing and documenting the physical, behavioral, speech, and performance indicators, you arrive at the critical decision point. This is the moment where you synthesize all the evidence and determine whether it meets the standard of reasonable suspicion. This is not a decision to be taken lightly. It is a significant step with profound consequences. At this juncture, you must ask yourself, do my observations, when viewed in their totality, lead a reasonable person to believe that this employee may be in violation of prohibitions on controlled substance use? If the answer is yes, then inaction is no longer an option. Your duty to ensure safety compels you to move from observation to action. The transition from observer to actor requires confidence in your training and in the process. It is natural to feel hesitation or apprehension. You are about to initiate a process that is inherently confrontational and will significantly impact another person's career. However, you must anchor yourself in the primary purpose of this program, preventing accidents and protecting lives. You are acting as a trained safety professional, fulfilling a federally mandated responsibility. Your decision is not an accusation of guilt, but a determination that a safety question exists to warrant a test. This shift in mindset is crucial. Before you proceed, perform one final mental review. Do you have multiple data points? Are they from different categories? Physical, behavioral, performance? Is there a clear deviation from normal baseline? Have you sought corroboration from another supervisor? This final check solidifies your justification and prepares you to articulate your reasons clearly. Having this well-organized set of facts will be your greatest asset as you prepare to approach the employee. This is the foundation upon which all subsequent steps will be built. The decision to act is a testament to your leadership and your commitment to safety culture. Ignoring clear warning signs is a failure of leadership and puts everyone at risk. By making the difficult but necessary decision to proceed, you are upholding company standards, complying with federal law, and removing a potential hazard from the workplace. You are choosing to prioritize the well-being of your team over the discomfort of a challenging conversation. This is the essence of your role as a supervisor. Approach the employee privately to discuss the situation with utmost professionalism and respect. Escort them to a private space with a witness present if possible. Maintain a calm, firm, and non-judgmental tone. State your observations factually, avoiding arguments. Reiterate your position calmly, focusing on company policy and requirements. Maintain control while preserving the employee's dignity. Be prepared for emotional reactions and remain professional. A procedure-driven approach de-escalates tension and ensures a respectful process. Immediately arrange transportation to a collection site. Never allow the employee to drive themselves. You or a company representative must provide transportation. Refer for testing immediately. Have the collection site's contact information ready. Call the facility to inform them you're bringing an employee for a DOT reasonable suspicion test. Use the proper federal drug testing custody and control form, CCF. Escort the employee to the site with the paperwork and wait to escort them back. Arrange transportation home and inform the employee not to return to safety-sensitive duties until the company receives the official test result from the medical review officer. After informing the employee of the required test, maintain a safe environment. Never leave the employee unattended until safely off company property. If the employee becomes hostile, don't engage. Follow security protocols. If an employee refuses the test, inform them it's treated as a positive result. Document the refusal with a witness if possible. Ensure they get home safely and are not permitted to return to work. Maintain confidentiality, informing others only on a need-to-know basis. Specimens are sent to a certified lab which reports findings to a medical review officer or MRO. The MRO, a licensed doctor, reviews drug test results. For negative results, the MRO reports to the company's DER. For positive, non-negative, or invalid results, the MRO contacts the employee for a confidential interview. The employee can provide medical explanations like a valid prescription. If verified, the MRO reports a negative result, otherwise it's reported as verified positive. The MRO may also address safety concerns. A positive test result requires immediate removal from DOT safety-sensitive functions. However, it doesn't necessarily end an employee's career. A substance abuse professional, or SAP, manages the return-to-duty process. The SAP evaluates employees, recommending tailored education or treatment. They aren't an advocate, but protect public safety through professional evaluation. Employers must provide a list of qualified SAPs. The SAP is the gatekeeper for return to duty, providing a report to the DER if the follow-up evaluation is satisfactory. After the SAP report confirms compliance with treatment and education, the next step is a return-to-duty drug test. This observed test must be negative for the employee to proceed, but a negative result doesn't guarantee re-employment. The employer decides. If rehired, the SAP creates a follow-up testing plan, including at least 6 unannounced tests in the first year. This process ensures public safety and supports the employee's return. Navigating reasonable suspicion testing requires awareness of employee rights. Federal DOT regulations provide a framework, but actions intersect with the Americans with Disabilities Act, the Family and Medical Leave Act, and state laws. Employees have rights to a confidential process, to speak with the medical review officer, and to request a split specimen test. Confidentiality is a major legal consideration. Unauthorized disclosure can lead to significant liability. Company policies must be clear, consistently applied, and legally compliant. Consistency is key to avoid discrimination claims. Consult HR or legal counsel when in doubt. Welcome to the practical part of our masterclass. Now it is time to move from theory to practice. We will bring these concepts to life through dramatized role-play scenarios simulating real-world situations. The goal is to bridge the gap between knowing and doing. These vignettes will sharpen your observational skills. As we present each scenario, actively participate. We will pause to analyze the situation, highlighting indicators and discussing the supervisor's thought process. Remember, this exercise is not to test you, but to train you. Let us now immerse ourselves in our first scenario. Our first scenario begins on a Tuesday morning at a busy distribution center. Supervisor David needs to speak with driver Mark about a route change. David notices Mark is acting differently, pacing and talking rapidly on his phone. Mark's pupils are dilated, his face is flushed, and he's sweating. He speaks rapidly, jumping between topics. Mark struggles to focus, fidgets, and interrupts. His hands tremble and he drops the paperwork. Mark struggles to recall the new route details. David recognizes these signs as potential stimulant use: hyperactivity, dilated pupils, sweating, pressured speech, and cognitive impairment. Let's pause the scenario here and analyze what Supervisor David has just witnessed. This is a classic example of how a reasonable suspicion case is built, not on a single sign, but on a collection of multiple corroborating indicators. The first and most important step David took was recognizing the change from Mark's established baseline. By knowing that Mark was normally calm, focused, and methodical, the current state of agitation and disorganization became immediately significant. This highlights the importance of supervisors knowing their employees, as this context turns a simple observation into meaningful evidence, suggesting something is fundamentally wrong and requires further investigation and action. Next, let's break down the specific categories of signs David observed. Physically, he noted dilated pupils which were inappropriate for the bright light, sweating that didn't match the temperature, hand tremors, and jaw grinding. Behaviorally, he saw hyperactivity like pacing, agitation, and an inability to concentrate. In terms of speech, he heard rapid, pressured speech that was difficult to interrupt. And from a performance standpoint, Mark was failing to properly conduct his pre-trip inspection and demonstrated clear cognitive impairment by being unable to recall simple new instructions. David did not see just one sign. He saw at least 7 distinct indicators across all major categories, painting a powerful and cohesive picture. Notice that at no point did David jump to conclusions or make an accusation. He did not think, Mark is on cocaine. Instead, he methodically gathered factual data. He observed, he listened, and he tested Mark's comprehension with a simple, job-related task. This process of patient information gathering is crucial. It allowed him to build an undeniable evidence-based case before he even considered taking the next step. If he had acted after only seeing Mark pacing, his case would have been weak. But by waiting and observing the full range of symptoms, he established a firm, defensible foundation for his decision. This scenario also underscores the importance of focusing on fitness for duty. Regardless of the potential cause, the observed behaviors clearly indicate that Mark is not in a condition to safely operate an 80,000-pound vehicle. His inability to concentrate, his impaired memory, and his agitation all pose a direct and immediate threat to public safety. David's concern is not about morality or legality at this stage, it is a pure safety assessment based on observable facts. This is the correct mindset for any supervisor. The observations all point to one unavoidable conclusion: Mark is not fit to perform his safety-sensitive duties at this moment, and intervention is required. Let's see how Supervisor David translates his observations into action. His first step is to ensure privacy. He says calmly, "Mark, could you please come with me to my office?" Once inside, David has another supervisor join them as a witness. David begins directly, "Mark, I've made some observations that give me serious concern about your health and safety to drive today." Mark immediately becomes defensive. David remains calm, reiterating his position. "Company policy and federal regulations require that I send you for a reasonable suspicion-controlled substance test. This is not optional." David's response is perfect. Our second scenario presents a different but equally dangerous set of circumstances. Supervisor Susan is reviewing paperwork when Tom arrives. As Tom enters, Susan notices his slow, deliberate movements. He slumps in his chair, his eyelids heavy. Tom's speech is slurred and his pupils are constricted, a major red flag. He struggles to track Susan's finger and nods off mid-conversation. This is an undeniable sign of impairment. Susan has observed multiple signs consistent with depressant use. Immediate action is needed to ensure safety. Let's pause and analyze the second scenario. Here, Supervisor Susan was faced with an entirely different set of indicators, but she followed the exact same professional process. The key takeaway is recognizing the signs of a system that is dangerously slowing down, which can be just as hazardous as a system in overdrive. Susan's initial observation of Tom's slow, deliberate movements and lethargic posture was a crucial first clue. It established a baseline of concern that prompted her to pay closer attention. Susan effectively identified signs across multiple categories, creating a comprehensive and defensible case. Physically, She noted constricted pinpoint pupils, droopy eyelids, and slowed motor control. In terms of speech, she documented that it was slow, slurred, and mumbled. Behaviorally, she observed extreme drowsiness, difficulty concentrating, and the critical act of nodding off. While Tom did not exhibit performance failures during the brief interaction, his state of profound sedation made it clear he was incapable of meeting safety standards. The evidence was overwhelming. This scenario highlights the importance of creating an opportunity for observation. When Tom came to her office, Susan used the interaction as a chance to assess his fitness for duty. She engaged him in conversation and had him look at a document, allowing her to observe his speech, eyes, and concentration. Supervisors should use every routine interaction as a brief, informal check-in. This proactive awareness can help you spot problems early, before an employee gets behind the wheel. Susan's attentiveness turned a simple question into a life-saving safety intervention. Finally, let's consider Tom's explanation that he didn't sleep well. This is a plausible-sounding excuse that a less trained supervisor might accept. However, Susan correctly understood that her role is not to diagnose the cause, but to respond to the observed impairment. The reason for the drowsiness is irrelevant from an immediate safety perspective. Whether it's lack of sleep, a medical condition, or a controlled substance, the end result is the same: an impaired driver who poses an imminent threat. Susan rightly concluded the signs were too severe to dismiss, and that a test was required. Let's see how Supervisor Susan proceeds, now armed with her clear and compelling observations. Given Tom's lethargic and disoriented state, Susan knows she needs to handle the situation with clarity, simplicity, and caution. She maintains a calm and supportive tone, recognizing that Tom's impairment may make him confused or slow to comprehend. She begins the conversation by stating her primary concern, which is his well-being. "Tom," she says softly but clearly, "I'm very concerned about you right now. You seem extremely tired, your speech is slurred, and you just fell asleep for a moment while we were talking. For your safety, I cannot allow you to continue working today." This approach is empathetic yet firm. It immediately grounds the conversation in a concern for Tom's own safety, which can be less confrontational than immediately announcing a drug test. Tom mumbles a protest. "I'm okay, I'm just tired." Susan responds patiently, reinforcing her decision. "I hear you, Tom, but the signs I'm seeing are serious. Because of my observations, the slurred speech, the difficulty staying awake, and your constricted pupils, I have a responsibility under our safety policy to require you to take a reasonable suspicion test." She clearly links her specific observations to the required action, following the correct protocol just as David did in the stimulant scenario. Susan then moves directly to the logistics, keeping her instructions simple and direct. "Tom, I'm going to have someone drive you to the collection facility now, and then we will make sure you get home safely from there. I need you to please come with me." Given Tom's impaired state, it is even more critical that he is not left alone. Susan personally escorts him from her office to a waiting area while she arranges for his transportation. Her calm, steady presence helps to keep the situation controlled and ensures Tom's safety throughout the process. She avoids complex explanations, focusing only on the immediate next steps he needs to understand. This scenario demonstrates how the same fundamental procedure can be adapted to different types of impairment. While Mark in the first scenario was agitated and argumentative, Tom is passive and confused. Susan's approach reflected this difference. Her tone was softer and more nurturing, but her message was just as firm and her actions were just as decisive. She followed the protocol exactly. State-specific observations, inform the employee of the required test, and manage the logistics for transportation. This shows that the principles of professionalism, objectivity, and procedural correctness are universal, regardless of the specific signs the employee is exhibiting. These two scenarios, though different in their details, provide several universal lessons that are at the heart of your responsibility as a supervisor. The first and most critical lesson is to always trust your training and your observations. In both cases, the supervisors, David and Susan, built their decisions on a foundation of multiple, specific, and articulable facts. They did not act on a single vague feeling or a rumor. They identified a pattern of indicators across physical, behavioral, and cognitive domains that, when viewed together, painted an undeniable picture of impairment. This diligent, evidence-based approach is your greatest strength and your best protection. The second key lesson is the importance of knowing your employees and recognizing a change from their baseline. Both scenarios began with the supervisor noticing that the employee was acting in a way that was profoundly out of character. This initial recognition of something is not right was the trigger for closer observation. This reinforces the need for you to be an engaged and present leader. The more you know about your team's normal work habits and personalities, the more quickly and accurately you will be able to spot a deviation that could signal a serious safety risk, allowing for early and effective intervention. Third, these role plays demonstrate the critical importance of a professional, procedure-driven response. Both supervisors handled the difficult referral conversation with calmness, clarity, and respect. They stated the facts without judgment, they did not get drawn into arguments, and they clearly explained the required next steps. They focused on safety and followed their company and DOT protocols to the letter. This professionalism not only de-escalates a potentially volatile situation, but also preserves the dignity of the employee and ensures the entire process is legally defensible. Your ability to remain calm and follow the script is a hallmark of a well-trained supervisor. Finally, these scenarios powerfully illustrate that your role is not to be a diagnostician or a law enforcement officer, but a proactive safety manager. David and Susan did not need to know with certainty what substance, if any, Mark and Tom had used. Their sole responsibility was to recognize the signs that indicated a person was not fit for duty and to take the necessary steps to remove that safety threat from the workplace. By observing carefully, documenting thoroughly, and acting decisively, you are fulfilling the highest calling of your position, protecting the lives of your employees, their families, and the public. As we conclude this masterclass, let's summarize your core responsibilities. First, understand the regulatory framework, including 49 CFR Part 382. Second, be a skilled observer, recognizing physical, behavioral, and performance indicators. Third, meticulously document your observations, adhering to the golden rule. Be objective, factual, and specific. Finally, take decisive, professional, and compassionate action when warranted, following company policy and federal procedures. The reasonable suspicion process can be summed up in 3 words: observe, document, act. This is your guiding principle. Observe, pay attention to employees and their fitness. Document, translate observations into factual written records. Act, take decisive action to ensure safety. Trust your training, follow procedures, and prioritize well-being. Observe, document, act, your professional commitment to safety. As you return to your daily duties, here are a few final tips to maintain a compliant and safe workplace. First, make a habit of continuous observation. Second, don't hesitate to ask for a second opinion. Third, periodically refresh your knowledge of company policies. Finally, lead by example. Your leadership helps build a proactive safety culture. Remember this fundamental distinction. Your role is to observe, not to diagnose. This is perhaps the most critical boundary. You are trained to recognize observable signs. You are not a medical doctor. Never determine the cause of behavior or label their condition. Focus on observable facts and workplace safety. This distinction is your shield. Straying into diagnosis creates legal risk. Stick to, I observed X, Y, and Z. Remember, you are a skilled observer. Ask, is there a potential safety risk? Stay in your lane of observation. A truly effective program fosters a workplace culture that prioritizes both safety and support. Your actions as a supervisor shape this culture. Regularly communicate available resources like employee assistance programs. Handle referrals with empathy, reinforcing that the process is about safety, not punishment. A fair, respectful process builds trust. Open communication ensures everyone goes home safe. Champion a culture balancing accountability with support. This transforms the program into a meaningful commitment to your people. Our masterclass today has provided you with the comprehensive training required by federal regulations. However, learning is a continuous journey, and we want to make sure you know where to turn for additional information and ongoing support. The primary source for all regulatory questions is, of course, the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration itself. Their website, which is at www.fmcsa.gov, is an invaluable resource. It contains the full text of the regulations, official interpretations, frequently asked questions, and a wealth of publications on drug and alcohol program management. We highly recommend bookmarking this site and referring to it whenever you have a specific question about the rules. Another key government resource is the Office of Drug and Alcohol Policy and Compliance, or ODAPC. You can find their materials at www.transportation.gov/ODAPC. This office provides guidance and oversight for all DOT-mandated drug and alcohol programs across all modes of transportation, not just trucking. Their website offers helpful publications for employers, employees, and service agents, including detailed guides on the roles of the MRO and the SAE. ODAPC is the ultimate authority on the interpretation of Part 40, the federal regulation that governs the procedures for all DOT drug and alcohol testing, which complements the FMCSA's Part 382 rules. For information related to the health effects of controlled substances and substance abuse treatment, there are several reputable national organizations. The National Institute on Drug Abuse at www.nida.nih.gov provides extensive science-based information on specific drugs, addiction, and treatment. The Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration at www.samhsa.gov offers a national helpline and a treatment locator tool, which can be a valuable resource to share with employees seeking help. These organizations provide the medical and scientific context that underlies the safety regulations we have discussed, deepening your understanding of the issues involved. Finally, don't forget your most immediate and important resource, your own company's internal experts. Your designated employer representative, your human resources department, and your company's third-party administrator are there to support you. They have specific knowledge of your company's policies and procedures and can provide guidance on any situation you encounter. Never hesitate to reach out to them with questions. Building a strong working relationship with your internal support team is essential for managing your program effectively. They are your partners in ensuring compliance and upholding the safety standards of your organization. We have reached the end of our masterclass on recognizing controlled substance use. You have invested your time and attention to absorb a great deal of critical information, from the fine points of federal regulations to the subtle signs of impairment and the precise steps of documentation and referral. We at HCM Integrity Services thank you for your commitment. This training is more than a regulatory requirement. It's a profound investment in the safety and integrity of your workplace. The knowledge and skills you have gained are powerful tools, but their true value will be realized only through your diligent and courageous application of them in your daily work. Your role as a supervisor is one of the most challenging and most important in any safety-sensitive industry. You are on the front lines, tasked with balancing productivity and morale with the non-negotiable demands of safety. The responsibility of identifying a potentially impaired colleague and initiating a reasonable suspicion referral can feel daunting. But as you have learned, you are not asked to do this based on a whim or a guess. You are equipped with a structured, evidence-based process that is designed to be fair, objective, and defensible. Trust in this process, trust in your training, and trust in your ability to make a difference. Every time you correctly apply these principles, you are doing more than just complying with a rule. You are potentially preventing a catastrophic accident. You are protecting the life of your employee, the lives of their colleagues, and the lives of countless innocent people who share the road. You are upholding the reputation of your company and the integrity of the entire transportation industry. This is a profound responsibility and one that you should carry with pride. Your vigilance is a critical shield that protects our communities from the devastating consequences of impaired driving. Never underestimate the importance of the role you play. We hope you leave this session feeling empowered, prepared, and confident. Empowered with the knowledge to spot the signs, prepared with the procedures to follow, and confident in your ability to handle these sensitive situations with professionalism, empathy, and resolve. Your commitment to safety is the bedrock upon which a successful organization is built. On behalf of HCM Integrity Services, we commend you for taking this vital step in your professional development. Go forward, lead with integrity, and continue to champion the cause of safety in everything